Imagine having a reverse Yelp where we rate customers on their attitudes, manners, and how well they tip. What review would you leave? Apparently the basic front desk bell is too complicated of a mechanism to operate for this person. Also demanded that I reduce her rate because we ran out of complimentary coffee and she couldn't wait the 2 minutes it would take me to make a new pot. Insulted the housekeepers, 2. 0 stars. Nice, pleasant man. Always orders the same sandwich every time, making preparing for him simple despite the complicated sandwich. Tips well, never talks longer it takes to complete his order. Also, the only male regular over 50 that doesn't leer at my underage coworker. 5 stars. She walked into the store and complained that outside smelled of gasoline. I told her we would address that issue as soon as an employee became available to do so. Customer is apparently unaware they are pumping gas at a gas station when complaining about the scent of gas. Perhaps she could consider not huffing it while filling her tank? Edit. Holy schnikes, my most upvoted comment ever is about someone sniffing gasoline. She lied about her hair history, wondered white blonde in one session on her virgin dark hair that the strand test determined was a lie. Said she could do it herself at home, turned hair orange instead. Came back to get a color correction and after explaining why she couldn't have blonde she said she'd settle for anything but orange and lighter than the dark. Gets a beautiful chocolate caramel color and cries because it's not blonde and too expensive, and also leaves no tip. -5 stars, not worth my time. Came in. Ordered. Ate their food in silence. Left minimal mess and a reasonable tip. Then buggered off. My perfect customer. 5 stars. The lady who yelled at me on the second day of my first job over the price of milk can have a solid 1 star. Stupid cunt kept trying to order a cheeseburger without cheese even though I was trying to save her money by suggesting to instead order a hamburger. Fast forward 30 seconds and she paid for the cost of a cheeseburger, but without the cheese. I hope she choked on it. 1 star. Makes me think of the Black Mirror episode where everyone has a social score and others can see it. Very polite but also incredibly awkward for some reason. Came on opening weekend of one of the biggest movies of the year 5 minutes before the showtime and then was shocked they'd have to stand in line for their concessions. Then complained to management that they missed their movie. Like what did they think was going to happen? Like we'd have a reserved place in line for them because of their obvious VIP status as King Douche Lord of Assland? A customer walked in the front door of my very closed, curbside-only pub today and asked if we had any steak. He had to ignore a giant sign saying please stay outside, we will bring your phony online order out to you. 0 out of 5 stars. I almost had a rage stroke. Edited to add, this is the second time he's done it. Guy comes in the middle of the festival, no reservation, by car, and blames me because it took him 2 hours to go the entrance of the city to my hotel because there are 200,000 people walking around the streets, and police barrages to help the flow of pedestrians. Then he blames me again because he did all of this for nothing because we're full. What did he think would happen, walking in with no reservation during the city's largest festival? 1 star, would not recommend. I just wish the lady that cuts my hair would discreetly tell me if I'm a good tipper or not. Edit, while I'm at it, how much goes on the tip line of a takeout receipt? I'm just making that shit up as I go. Totally not ready for a reverse Yelp. Gah. She practically drinks all the salsa and I keep having to give her refills. Her chip to salsa ratio is seriously questionable. Otherwise, she's nice enough. Edit, I misread the question. I thought it asked what review would someone leave of me. I am the salsa lover. Uber has a system like this, where they rate passengers. I like it. It means good customers get full ratings and are more likely to get drivers responding to them. Bad customers will go to the back of the line. I'm proud to say that I am a 5.0 star passenger, which really isn't that big an accomplishment. It just means that I was well behaved and sat there like a normal person while they drove me to my destination. That's all it takes. Customer service swings both ways in my opinion. Good customers should get good service, bad customers should be given the bare minimum or thrown out if they're abusive or disruptive. Threw a drink at my lead. 010 Get ducked sideways with a poleaxe, you fucking afterbirth. This stupid old man threw a tantrum over canned noodles. I told him it was on the shelf, but he insisted there were bags in the boxes on top. I told him the boxes were full of the same canned brand, but he didn't listen and started to cause a scene. I went to get my cart with a step stool on it to show him, but he started hitting his cart yelling, "Damn it." I got so angry I ripped the box off the top shelf and canned everywhere. He just said, "Guess they were cans," and walked off. 20 minutes later he comes back and buys the cans. 010. Drunken fool tried to return half bottle of booze because it tastes off. Watch him get in his car and promptly called police to report drunken driver. I've talked about this idea many times. It would be so magical. I greeted the table and they didn't even look at me, they just said water. So I get their waters in their food order, which was difficult because they asked a million questions that could have been answered by reading the menu. That's what it's there for. Then when I'm trying to deliver the food, no one was paying attention and they couldn't remember what they even ordered. They were just overall kind of rude and annoying, but they left 18%, so that's better than what I thought they were going to leave. 35 stars, can't really recommend. Literally hunkered down in the basement with the gunman upstairs, detectives on the phone, another, pregnant, crying, customer and all the staff, and this jackass still had the nerve to ask if his watch was done being repaired before the first shot rang out. Then proceeded to scream at the detectives that this was a huge inconvenience, he had clients waiting at court, and needed this to be over with. This girl was clearly having a bad day. She seemed really angry and upset. I tried my best to help, but there wasn't much I could do. I took her order, served her as usual. She got a call and walked out of the restaurant. I went to the table and found a $50 bill and a sweet little note about how her husband died and she really appreciates my patience. 5 stars, best customer. Her kids dropped the popcorn, so she asked me for a broom to let them clean it up themselves. I said it wasn't necessary, but she insisted that she wanted to raise them to be conscious of the fact that when they make a mess someone has to clean it up. Nice lady. 55. Started out okay, but interaction quickly declined when customer was mildly inconvenienced by new guidelines put in place due to an ongoing global pandemic. Should have spoken to manager about abysmal behavior. Lost faith in customers as a brand, won't be using again, until my bosses make me, because their money is more important than my safety. If I'm essential, how come they get to treat me like freshly churned peacock shit? 010 stars, horrible idea, massive design flaws. Family came into the restaurant today and ordered a good amount of sushi rolls and some chicken hibachis. There was no problem with their payment or their demeanor at first, but be careful. Looks can be deceiving. As soon as we provided their kids with forks, they started flinging rice at each other. Parents didn't even bat an eye, like this was a normal thing, so I'm sure they have done this at other places too. They left the area around them looking like the kids were playing Splatoon and trying to cover as much surface area as they could with rice. Didn't leave a tip for the mess I was left to clean up and didn't even give an apology. Would not recommend serving this family while their inklings are around. Becky and Judy, 5 stars. After 2 glasses of Tempranillo, Judy is going to order a half glass. Ask if she went to physical therapy today for her shoulder. If she did, give her the full glass. Becky will wink at you. She only ever tips the coins left from the transaction, usually $0.05. While waiting for her order, she loudly explains the most recent conservative talking points to everyone in earshot. On her last visit, which was on the day shelter-in-place was announced here in SF, she spent 20 minutes ranting about how only businesses had the authority to close themselves down. Truly hope never to serve her again. 1 star. 1 star took a shit in the sink.